Hi everyone, welcome to the Hands Up for Trad afternoon show. I was watching the weather on the telly last night and I was told that by yon bonny banks and by yon bonny braes the sun shines bright on Loch Lomond. Well, I have to say I take exception to that because it's pouring here. But luckily the sun is shining very brightly in the studio here and we've got some great guests. Now, please shout out, tell us where you're watching from. And remember, and share this broadcast. Let's get it to as many people as possible. Anyway, we have an international lineup of Scots living abroad today, so please welcome Alasdair White and Mike Katz, Maeve Gilchrist. Oh, I see. And Alasdair, can you tell our watching audience what a set actually is in trad terms?
Well, it's really a set of it's a collection of tunes. Our tunes are very short. Oh, sorry, I don't know how that got there. Our tunes are very short generally. They're only about 16 bars generally. So in order for it to be interesting, either not very boring or very, very short, we try and meet in the middle and put several of these small tunes together as one piece of music to create a bit of interest, light and shade, highs and lows, character development, maybe a plot twist, hopefully not a surprise ending.
Well, if anyone's watching and understood that, please send us a message.
I thought I was very concise.
Well, anyway, I was listening to the album this morning, and I think what is obvious is you guys play so well together. You really understand each other's playing. Do you enjoy playing together?
Absolutely, yeah. I think that, I've been playing with Alasdair for 20 years, I think. And people at home may not know this, but Alasdair has a better piping pedigree than I do. He was taught by Ian Morrison at school, so obviously he doesn't keep it up. But I think Alasdair understands whoever plays the pipes understands what you're playing because he knows what's going on. So it's much easier to communicate than it is with someone who has no idea about bagpipes.
And Alasdair, did you both meet when you started with the Battlefield band?
Correct. Yes. It is coming up for 20 years. I joined in 2001, September, straight out of school. I was going to do it for a couple of years and a couple of decades later.
Well, I think you guys always look like you're having a great time together, and we've got a wee video clip of you both in the Temple Records kitchen. It's Ali doing the food and basically Mike getting the priorities right. Let's have a watch of it now. Hold on. Let's watch it now.
I'm going to cook a couple of dishes for you today in the Temple kitchen, concentrating mainly on black pudding. I'm from the island of Lewis and it's one of our greatest exports. And the first dish is going to be black pudding with bacon and a rocket and apple salad. For the salad, just a wee thing, if you want a wee taste of garlic but not too strong a taste of garlic, just half a garlic clove and give it a wee rub around the bowl and that gives kind of a subtle flavour.
Right, that's the squid clean, so at this point I think it's a good idea to have a wee gin and tonic. Have lemon and lime, get the oil, citrus oil onto the glass. The best gin and tonics I've ever had were in Bilbao in a pub called Scala. Plenty ice, good quality gin, and nice small quantities of tonic are good because these big bottles, once you open them, they go flat. 1 tin will do a family of 6.
Oh, fantastic, Mike. Well, I have to say that they are delicious.
Pudding tastes a wee bit funny in a cocktail, but it's worth the effort.
Yeah, well, anyway, Mike, I really have to show this next clip. I mean, when you drink G&Ts and alcohol, do you then start taking your clothes off to play the bagpipes?
It depends on the heat.
Yeah, well, it must have been a very hot day when we saw it, when you made this video. Let's see you playing your bagpipes in your underpants. Well, it didn't really fit into anything, but I mean, I could not but not play it. I shortened it, though, you'll be happy to know.
Well, that was, I think Phil did that, and without my permission, stuck it on it.
Well, it's very good. Anyway, I mean, so you guys, you met in the Battlefield Band, and basically that's a band that started a long, long time ago and changed the way that the world viewed Scottish music. Does that a pressure when you go out? Because you've played all over the world with the band, Mike.
I think it was maybe more of a pressure when I was younger. Eventually you have enough confidence in whatever you're doing that you just have to try to play whatever's good. And if people don't agree with what you think is good, then hard lines. So, but I think I remember years ago worrying about all kinds of stupid minutiae, and it really didn't make a difference. So I stopped worrying about it.
I mean, in Alasdair, of course, like Mike, you took over from quite a line of violinists, fiddlers in your time. So who was before you? Was it McCusker?
It was McCusker, and then before him, Brian McNeill. McNeill begat McCusker, but McCusker, etc., etc. That was, I mean, big shoes to fill, obviously. And that was, again, as Mike says, that was something that was uppermost in my mind when I first joined the band, is that, I had to be at least equal to the occasion, whatever that occasion was. And then after a while, you bed down and you feel as if the fiddle chair is yours, so you can kind of have a little bit of leeway within that.
Alasdair and I were both very lucky, individually and collectively, because when we joined the band, we had tons of work. We were actually turning down work. So no matter how good or bad you were, you had 40,000 gigs to work it out, and so you did it very quickly. And that's a luxury that lots of people don't have now,
Well, we're going to actually watch a clip of the two of you playing with the band, but before we do that, let's just remind people where they can buy the new album, which is Katz and white.bandcamp.com, if you want to download it. And can we see it again, Alasdair?
This old thing?
Oh, it's very nice. It's a great cover, I have to say. And this is a set that was recorded just very recently at Piping Live. Hi, we're back. We're back. Fantastic from the classic Battlefield Band there. Right, let's say hello to a few people. Hello to Mandy, Ewan, Joan, Rosemary, Graham. Mandy's watching from Dumfries. Ali's watching from Aberdeen. Bob from Cork. Oh, there's hi Sharon, Sunny Inch. Oh, she's even got some sun emojis. And there's Frank in Neustadt, Coburg. I remember playing gigs there many years ago. And Michelle Roseberry from Massachusetts. Kind of amazing. Fiona from Aegis. I think that's how you say it. I never know how you say that. Fiona Cameron. Hi, Sandy. And there's Richard Weisner from Hildesheim, Germany. And there's Alberto Albleno, who loved the Battlefield Band. Fantastic. Right, next up, we have the fabulous harp player, Maeve Gilchrist.
Hello.
How are you doing, Maeve?
Doing good. Happy to be here.
Absolutely, it was brilliant. Well, as you were saying, you are coming to us from Cold Spring, which is about 1 hour north of New York.
Just an hour up the Hudson, so not too far at all. I'm on the Metro North train line, but it seems right now a world away from being in the city.
Is that a pretty place?
It is really gorgeous. My mum and dad came here to visit at Christmas time, and they were saying it reminded them of Argyllshire. Is that right? Oh. There's a lot of quarried kind of rock, and maybe it was just Ayrshire. Anyway, it's beautiful. Clearly, I've been away a long time.
Let's meet in the middle and say Aaron.
But I'm right on the river, and the mountains are going up, and there's all kinds of great hikes around. There's one called Breakneck Ridge and Storm King Mountain. All the mountains sound like metal band names.
Or a bluegrass tune. And so you're originally from, I keep wanting to say Portobello. Portobello.
Portobello.
Originally, but what took you to the US?
Well, it's been 17 years now, which is bonkers for me to think about. I came when I was 17, and it's now been exactly 17 years. But I first came over to Boston to study at the Berklee College of Music. And then I stayed. I ended up staying on and teaching there for about 5 or 6 years, and then moving back to New York City, the hive, the musical hive of New York City.
I mean, you actually, when you finished studying there, you were the first lever harpist to join the faculty of the Berklee College as well. That's quite amazing.
They don't know the word clarsach, so that's why it's called the lever harp. But yeah, it's great because when I first went to Berklee, I wasn't a harp major because there wasn't such elasticity in the programs there. But in the years since I graduated, there was huge numbers of kind of high-level American young folk musicians who wanted to go to Berklee, and just kind of naturally they were great bluegrass players or old-time players, and they were interested in studying jazz, which is really what Berklee is known for. So they created this department called the Roots Department, which is kind of a home for all stringed folk instruments. And within the department, different instruments can study with any of the teachers. And it's created this really amazing kind of curious atmosphere of all kinds of folk musicians coming together. It's pretty special now.
That sounds absolutely fantastic. And if you were to tell people why they had to play the harp, what is it about the harp that's so great?
Well, it's really light and portable. That's probably the main thing. I don't know. I mean, you know, my aunts are harpists on my mum's side. My cousins are harpists. It was always kind of there. But for me, it feels like this fantastic outlet for texture. You know, the range is not too dissimilar to a piano. And so in regards to like the ultimate device for coloring and texture and stuff, there's a lot of different things you can do with the harp.
Well, we're actually going to watch a video of you playing with the dancer Nick Gilchrist. How did you meet him? Because this looks like a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. When I'm playing with Nick, I always feel like if my notes were to kind of come together and conjure up a little man, that would be Nick. He's just my notes kind of dancing back at me. But Nick and I, Well, we met a couple of times early on. The fiddle player Daryl Anger hired us both one summer to play in his band, and that's when we spent a lot of time together. But prior to that, we'd met as kind of non-fiddle players going to a lot of the fiddle festivals in America, and I think we both love to use traditional music as a vehicle to explore improvisation and just making stuff. And I think we kind of bonded over that, and then started to play duo.
Well, let's watch this video. It's called The Sand Hunter, and everyone should check it out on YouTube because it's totally great. That is just fantastic, totally fantastic. Right, so before we go, Maeve, obviously we have worked together for a long time now. And
you were my teacher. You were my
know.
first traditional music teacher.
I still remember you and your sister, Anne Sarah Hoy, running underneath the desks in Broughton Primary School. Yeah, not so easy nowadays, but... But your mum and dad are fantastic supporters, Jim and Anne. Your dad has been one of our main writers in the Scotsman about folk music forever. So let's just say hello to them. How nice to see you guys. Well, see you virtually. Hopefully see you soon. And I think your dad's from Mogai as well, so we share that.
He is.
Anyway, you are doing whilst in this period of lockdown, you're doing quite a few other things as well. Tell me about them.
Well, some of it is just kind of finishing bits and bobs that were supposed to be happening. And the main part of that is I made a new record in January and February called The Harp Weaver, which has kind of been in the works for a couple of years now. I came across a poem by the American poet Edna St. Vincent Millay about a year and a half ago. She was the first woman poet in America to win a Pulitzer Prize. And the reason actually I started reading her was I'm a big Elizabeth Bishop fan, and she was a mentor of Elizabeth Bishop's. And I kind of just by fluke came across this poem, and it's a old-fashioned long-form ballad, and it talks about a mother and her son facing bleak economic circumstances, and in a last-bid effort, the mother turns to the harp and starts to weave from the strings clothes to keep her son warm, and she dies in the process, but she leaves behind these beautiful clothes. And so it's a little sad at the end. It's a bittersweet poem. But actually, what I loved about it was this idea of the instrument providing for the player. So often we think about kind of wrangling the notes out of the instrument, but I love the idea of this kind of give and take relationship where you're working together, and actually the instrument is supporting the player, and that rings true for me when I think about where I am living and the work I'm doing and the community I have. It's all due to this harp behind me. So this was kind of the seed of this record. I was working with strings a lot at the time, doing a lot of string arrangements, and I was lucky enough to get to work with the Azuri String Quartet, an all-female Grammy-nominated string quartet that are based in New York. So it was really fun. I melodically, I was playing with a lot of kind of old music hall style melodies, and I love the sound of that stuff. I love how deeply the idea of nostalgia is embedded in the music. And so wrapping up that record right now, not sure with all this when I'm going to release it, but it's great to have it done. And then couple of other things in the works since this all happened. Now that we've got sleuths of space in front of us, other little ideas are kind of starting to tick. And I work a lot with an organisation called the Silk Road Ensemble, and because of all the tours that were getting cancelled, they created this new grant opportunity pairing up their members. And Silk Road is a global community of artists, and so I'm paired up with a really wonderful Syrian artist and animator called Kevork Murad, who makes these ethereal, really magic. I mean, you should go check out his website, kevorkmurad.com. So we're going to be making something. I feel like in place of concerts, it's just you make a thing. So we're going to make a thing. I'm not sure what it is, but it's great to have that. I've been chatting a lot to my collaborator Victor Krauss, and we've been bopping ideas back and forth. Yeah, it's a nice time to play a little bit.
Yeah, and I suppose that's a nice link, the Silk Road, into what we're going to watch a video of you playing with is it the Boston Symphony Orchestra?
No. It's the Boston Conservatory Orchestra, and they're playing in the home of the Boston Symphony Orchestra, Symphony Hall, which is just an amazing acoustic space. I remember I played a harmonic in there, and my harmonics had never sounded so beautiful. It's just a resonant, gorgeous space.
They wouldn't fit in my conservatory. There's too many of them. And you co-wrote this piece, didn't you?
I did. This is the last movement of a 4-part concerto that was a commission from the Western Piedmont Symphony, North Carolina, and it was kind of the first time I'd forayed into this type of writing. And my co-composer Luke Benton was enormously generous in sharing his skill set for writing for orchestra. It loosely follows the narrative of the life of my great-great-grandmother on my mum's side, who moved from Dublin to New York to Wyoming, and eventually when her family had all either moved back to Ireland or passed away, she moved to England and became a Cistercian nun and kind of found her peace. And this last movement is more of a reflective movement about that time for her.
If anyone wants to find out more about your stuff, they can go to MaeveGilchristmusic.com, and that's on your screens right now. No excuses. Anyway, here is Maeve with the Boston Conservatory Orchestra. Well, that was absolutely beautiful. So, carrying on now. Oh, quick, let's say hello to a few people here. Mikey O'Shea watching from Tokyo. Thanks for the wonderful music. And there's David from Sunny Pool. And here's Philip again. He's been on the beach in Norfolk. What's going on? And Timothy from Las Vegas. Jenny from Oban. I bet the sun's shining there. It always sun. Oh, there's Tom from Motherwell, definitely the sun shines there, especially when hearts go to Motherwell. And there's Margaret Mary Devlin from the Silk Road community watching in, and there's Helene from London. Fantastic. Well, anyway, last January was the finals of the BBC Radio Scotland Young Traditional Musician Award. And we had 6 musicians, all aged from the age of 16 to 27. And they were basically 6 of them were competing to become the award winner. The previous winner was Benedict Morris, who you've seen on this show before. And this person here was the winner. That's amazing. Oh, that's not Ali. That's Maeve. Come back. Oh, man. Oh, I love a bit of live. Now, that's me. Come on, Ali, where are you? Oh, here you are now. So, Ali, congratulations on winning the award.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
It must be a strange year to have won the Young Trad.
Yeah, it's a bit bizarre. I think I don't know. I think the highlight of it for me was winning it and just the night, really. And I'd kind of been working towards that for over 10 years. I remember the first time I'd ever heard of it when Rudy McMillan won it. I remember being in the hostel in Plockton and listening to it live on the radio. And then I thought I'd quite fancy a bit of that. So, yeah, I think the main part of what I wanted from the award I've got. So the rest is just the gigging and stuff. So, yeah.
Well, I'm sure that'll all come again. All these things will be replenished. Would you recommend the Radio Scotland Young Trad Award to young musicians?
100%. Yeah. I'm of the view normally that accolades and stuff don't really matter, and people should just be judged on their playing. Really, but the general public go by accolades and awards and stuff, and a lot of the time it does help to have that next to your name, and I never really had anything like that next to my name, so it definitely does help to promote yourself and your music or anything you're trying to sell. So
I mean, I agree with that, to be honest. We organise these competitions basically because from a marketing perspective they're fantastic.
Yeah, totally.
And we helps up the ladder. But I mean, you've been really busy, and you've also just released an album with Project Smock as well. Yeah,
we released that. If we couldn't have timed it better, it was the Saturday night we had the album launch in the old fruit market, which was sold out. And then the following night, I couldn't go out that night after the album launch because the final was the next day. So I had to reel it in. But yeah, no, we're just so glad to have the album out, and we can't wait to tour it again. But myself and Pablo have been working on some things. He kind of railroaded me into, at the start of this lockdown, into investing in recording gear and stuff. And I couldn't be more grateful that I've gotten all that kind of stuff, because it just means we finished a track just yesterday, so we're hoping to release that as a single the next couple of weeks. So yeah.
That's great. Well, we're going to listen to a track from it. It's a clip of a track. It's the third track in. It's a set of jigs. Can you tell us what that's called?
Is that Alasdair?
That's the one, yes.
So it's just after a place we've played in a few times, and we love going to Alasdair, but we always leave with the fear. So, yeah, a place quite close to our heart. So.
Well,
yeah.
we're just going to listen to it. So if you're a dancing man, this is the time to be the public to see you having a wee bit of a dance.
I was going to throw off and really that I thought about.
Oh, that sounds absolutely great. Totally fantastic. So, so you can actually get that album at projectsmock.com. And definitely, and that because you've released quite a few singles apart from the album as well, so it's definitely worth checking out. So, congratulations.
Cheers, yeah, thanks very much.
Well, it is now time for our weekly quiz. And we're all back. Are you ready, guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
I just want to quickly say hello to some other people, actually. Who have we got? Oh, just a couple. Francis from Manchester and Winnie from Simonton and Biggar. I used to live in Lamington, so I know you very well. So, this is our usual quiz, and you've all been asked to bring your own lockdown buzzers. So can we see your buzzers? Can we hear them as well? Oh, fantastic. Right, good. Well, they are great. So, let me see. Let me get the questions together. Right, are we ready?
Yes.
Question 1. Which Roman emperor was said to be a skilled bagpiper? Anyone?
I'm going to go. There might be a trick question. Apparently, Nero played the lyre, but he could. There's some debate over what instrument he played when Rome burned. Was it Nero?
Correct. And a bonus question. Do you know who his adopted father was?
Oh.
I'll tell you. Emperor Claudius.
Claudius, yes.
Not bad though, Alasdair. I didn't really expect anyone. Well, I maybe thought Mike might have got that, but no. Right. Tartan Day is a North American celebration of Scottish heritage. In the USA, it's held on April the 6th. Which date does that commemorate? Alasdair.
Treaty of Arbroath.
Correct!
Treaty of Arbroath.
What? My goodness, I've got some flaws. Right, excellent. Right, the two people should get this one. What year did the Battlefield Band start? Mike.
68.
Wrong.
69.
Right, correct. And a bonus question. Who was the first piper in the band?
Ian, the late Ian MacDonald, Finlay MacDonald's father.
Correct. Right, here's another New York Scots question. Which famous pop star did Gene Redpath share a house with in New York?
Say that again?
Which famous pop star did the Scots singer Gene Redpath share a house with in New York in Greenwich Village?
Joni Mitchell?
Wrong.
Tom Petty?
Bob Dylan.
All right.
Oh.
And seemingly she shared one of the songs, the melody of one of the songs that he sang. And Finally, the final question for today. How many musicians are in Mike Katz and Alasdair White, plus Maeve Gilchrist and Nick Garris, a symphony orchestra, Project Smock, and Project Smock?
Is that 2 Project Smokes? Or just the one Project Smoke?
Just the one Project
Only
Smock.
one project.
Sorry, I had to improvise there and subtract Adam Holmes.
39.
Wrong. Maeve.
I don't actually know how many people are in Project Smock, so I'm guessing that's 4. So I'm going to say 78.
Wrong.
27.
I think no one's going to get it, actually. It's 107.
Oh,
Because,
That's a big symphony orchestra.
yeah, well, a symphony orchestra is typically around 100 musicians.
that's right.
Wow.
Jeez,
There you go.
quite a lot, eh?
Yeah. Well, thanks very much, guys, for coming along today. It's been great to have you here. We will be back on Monday with John McCusker, Eddie Reeser, Karen Matheson and Ian Carr for more laughs and fun. That'll be 2 p.m. on Monday, whatever the date is, 25th of May. Great to see everyone back. And thanks to Creative Scotland for making this possible. I'll see you later.
Cheers.
Bye.